Welcome to the Daily Neitz, a daily look at classic films, modern cinema, and the world of professional wrestling. And today I want to talk about the 1928 silent film Passion of Joan of Arc. Silent films are usually like really hit and miss for me. I'm usually like really divided between them. Like either love the movie or can't stay awake through the movie, Nosferatu, or like there's no middle ground where it's like, oh, that was just good. And I've realized today a lot of that is due to the score. Now, when in the 20s, when films were showing in theaters, oftentimes, most of the time I believe, there would be live bands playing music. Most of the time it was a score decided upon by the filmmaker or composed specifically for the film and played everywhere. But to my knowledge, a lot of those original film scores aren't included in versions of them now. Like with public domain films like Nosferatu, the score is whoever put out the DVD felt like paying for. That's the score they put in there. So a lot of times it's like public domain, classical music, stuff that you hear in everything. It doesn't always fit the film, it doesn't time out right with the action, and it doesn't set the tone properly sometimes. And then sometimes it does, and you have movies like Metropolis, which is fantastic, and the score helps set the tone. And you have stuff like the Chaplin stuff. I believe he did a lot of his own scores, or is that Keaton? One of the two, I think, did their own scores, and they were both, I think, very meticulous about what music went with their movies, so it works better. And that's part of why I really love Chaplin and Keaton. And now we're moving into The Passion of Joan of Arc, and the reason why I bring this up is I went to my local library and picked up the Criterion Collection version of the film. And the reason I did that is because I went on Hulu. It is available on Hulu, and the Hulu version is silent. At least as far as I got. I pressed play, sat back, pressed play, and a wall of French text with no English subtitle option came up, and there's no sound. It's like, this is a little strange, and I stopped it, and I put in the DVD, and it gave me an option to play the film silently or play it with an audio track called The Voices of Light, which, of course, being me, I was like, I got audio, please. I need something to help me set the tone. After watching the film, I don't know if music is necessary with this one. That is nothing against the soundtrack. The Voices of Light soundtrack is brilliant. It was written, I believe, in the 90s. So, 70 some odd years after the film was released, inspired by the film, and written, or at least this version was adapted specifically for the film. So every orchestral swell, every choral piece matches perfectly what's going on screen, matches the emotion perfectly, really sets the tone, just makes the film so engrossing. The reason why it might not even be necessary is Marie Falconetti, I believe is her credited name. It's not her actual name, something Renee Jean Falconetti, I believe. I'm just double checking the last name that I got that right. It's not even on here, is it? Yay, thank you Criterion for making me look like an idiot. No, it is Renee Falconetti. Okay, cool, I got it right. Her performance is widely considered one of the best performances ever put on film. I can agree with that. It is just pure emotion. They shot the film pretty much in one location. The whole film's in close-up. So if you even think this is a medium shot, the whole film is shot like this. You don't see below her chin, and you don't see above her head too much. At least for her, there's very few instances where you see more of her body than just her face. And there's no makeup used and bright lighting, so you see every intricate detail of her face and her eyes and her lips, and when she touches her face, her hands and the trembles, and every little motion in her face is just pure emotion. And you feel everything she's feeling throughout the film. When she's asked questions, I should preface the film, it's just her trial and execution. You don't see any of the battles or the angel coming to talk to her. It begins with the beginning of her trial and ends with her infamous execution, and it is adapted directly from the original transcripts of her actual legit trial, which I think is really, really cool. Didn't even know that existed. But anyway, as she's going through her trial and she's being asked these questions, you can see her answer in her eyes before she opens her mouth. And oftentimes it doesn't even cut to an intertitle of her answer. You see her lips move as she's speaking, French, of course. But you know exactly what she's saying and exactly what she means. Her performance is brilliant. And it's amazing seeing this dramatic performance from someone who has done no other films. This is it. And her stage work was all lighthearted comedy. But having this incredibly dramatic performance is beautiful. And the fact that this film has survived, because it was believed lost for decades, it is a wonderful thing that we now in 2016, 90 years after this film was released, we can look back at this performance and still regard it as great, even compared to modern great performances. Leonardo has nothing on Falconetti that is just fantastic, just real and shrouded in mystery because of the time it was produced, the fact that she's done no other films to compare it to. It's just, it stands on its own, and it is fantastic. As you can tell, I liked this movie. Go see this movie. If you speak French or can read French, it's on Hulu. There may actually be English in there later on. I didn't watch far enough to find out. I should probably double check my research. But seek this one out. Seek out the Voices of Light soundtrack as well. I don't think it needs it, but I'm glad I watched it with it, if that makes sense, because it did add a lot. It didn't detract from the film in any way. I think that's all I really want to say about The Passion of Joan of Arc. Just wow, blew me away. Tomorrow I'm looking at a film called Peeping Tom. No idea what that's about, but knowing Roger Ebert's great movies, it's probably about prostitutes. But until then, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And until tomorrow, bye.